from the campus of the University of Nebraska at Omaha. Consider This, a program of issues and information behind today's news.
Hi everyone, I'm Kathy Wyatt. Welcome to the 26th season and this week's edition of Consider This. Our topic, low vision. Joining us to talk more about it is Megan Mackey. Megan is the Community Outreach Specialist at Outlook Enrichment. Thank you so much for being here and welcome.
Thanks, Kathy. Thanks for having me.
Megan, we'll start with asking you to tell us what low vision is.
Low vision is anything that affects your clarity and how you see and can't be corrected by surgery or glasses. It can range from maybe nearsightedness or farsightedness all the way up to completely changing how you can read or drive.
Okay, and how prevalent is this in the state of Nebraska?
In the state of Nebraska, there are 35,000 people statewide that suffer from some type of vision loss. In the metro community, there's 15,000 of us.
Wow, okay. Now, in that opening video, we saw many examples of low vision. What would you say are the most common types?
The most common types are probably caused by people just getting older in general. That's going to be your glaucoma, your cataracts, which can affect nearly anybody. The most prevalent vision loss for working age adult is going to be caused by diabetic retinopathy. There's also retinosis pigmentosus, and I would say those are the most common. Macular degeneration is also very common.
So how is low vision different than being legally blind?
So this gets into a little bit of mathematical equations. So a person with perfect vision sees 20/20. A person with low vision can be considered low vision when your eyesight reaches 20/70. And what that means, as simple as I can put it, is whatever you see from 20 feet away, a person with regular sight could see that from 70 feet away. So low vision is the next, a step down from perfect vision. Legal blindness is another lower level from that, which a person would have 20/200 vision. And so what you would see from 20 feet, a regular person would be able to see from 200 feet. And the legal part of it is just based on getting assistance such as Social Security or services. Legal blindness is the line for that. You can't be legally blind if you only have vision impairments out of one eye. That measurement is measured on the sight out of your best eye.
Oh, wow, okay. And the causes, what causes this to happen?
Some people are born with visual impairments. Like some preemies have visual impairments when they're born. Some are just from getting older. Others are from accidents, or like mine is from juvenile diabetes and maybe just not taking the best care of yourself throughout your life, and things just kind of catch up with you.
Okay, and I want to talk about that in a few minutes. I want to kind of, lay the groundwork here for all of this in terms of, what causes it, which you've done a very nice job talking about. I also want to know, Megan, how this is diagnosed. You mentioned that sometimes you can be born with this, right? So babies can't talk to us, they can't tell us what's happening. So talk about the diagnosis in the various maybe age groups or even types of low vision.
Okay. Well, it just really depends on the person and their circumstance. So there's going to be some people that don't have peripheral vision. There's some people that don't have central vision. There's some people that only have central vision. Some of these things happen and they stay the same, and you can get used to, what it takes to make it through your day with that condition. Some progress as you get older. Some have treatment, some don't. So the basics is to get into your eye doctor, and hopefully they can catch things before they get too bad. And in best case scenario, there's a surgery or some way to fix it, but there's not always that option.
Okay, Megan, what are they saying now? We're told that we should be going to, the audiologist this number of times. We're, this specialist this number of times. How often should people really be getting their eyes checked?
If you have I would think that would also depend on the person. If you have juvenile diabetes, they're going to want you to get that checked often. If it's something that's hereditary like RP, you're going to want to get that checked often. I know that I have to go in twice a year. The average person, I would say, would need to just go in for a general checkup every year, every couple years at least. But the more significant issue you have, you're going to want to keep a tight eye on that.
And once a diagnosis is made, our viewers need to know there is a place called Outlook Enrichment that will be able to walk with them, right? So tell us about this organization.
So we like to describe people's vision loss as a journey. Like I said, some people are going to have one thing happen and they can overcome that. Other people like me, it's constantly happening. And so it's kind of a grief, and you're going to go through that every time your vision changes. And Outlook Enrichment offers all kinds of training and support and activities that people with any level of vision or vision loss can participate in.
Now, located in Omaha.
Correct.
But who are you serving, really? Can anybody across the state pick up the phone and call you, at least for help with resources?
Absolutely.
Or how does that work for you guys?
We have actually nationwide. COVID opened up a lot of things for us. It was a rough ride, but we ended up being able to serve people through virtual tech training, through virtual classes on independent living. So whether it's how to organize or how to use your phone, or support groups. We had online game nights. We had, from serious things to fun things, we got to open that up to everybody. As far as the in-person events, of course, it's mostly the Omaha area, or some of the areas farther out don't have services like that. So people will come in for special events from quite a distance.
Okay, talk about your role with Outlook Enrichment.
I am the community outreach specialist, so I have kind of the best job. I plan all of the cultural events, recreational events, social events. You just keep it rolling so that you can find niches for as many people as possible. Some people love to do sports. Some people love to, do art. We try to keep a wide variety of things and bring in people that can adapt these to anybody.
I read on your website that you have a lot of fun at your job, and I love to hear that. However, I also learned that it was challenging to get to your job, and you've alluded to your own low vision. Take us back, if you would, Megan, and talk about how your diagnosis came about. What were some of the signs, and how did you know that you were going to need help?
So I was diagnosed with juvenile diabetes when I was 4, and my mom did a really great job. But as I got older, I had a tendency to not listen and not do everything that was suggested. And the problem with that is effects don't happen right away. They kind of build up, and I had a job as a waitress, but I didn't have insurance, and just those regular appointments, regular eye doctor appointments, they may have been able to catch some of the things going on, but unfortunately I didn't realize until I started seeing blood in one of my eyes. And so At that point, they did a lot of treatments on that one eye. I was still able to drive. I was still able to do my same job, but then eventually it happened to my other eye multiple times, and then it was pretty much instantly that I was no longer able to drive, no longer able to read, which made waitressing pretty hard, or getting anywhere pretty hard. I was one of those people that thought that you can just pretty much fix anything, and I thought, you know what, they'll fix it. I'll keep my car, I'll take a little time off, and I didn't know how everything was gonna work. It just, everybody goes through their own, takes people different amounts of time. I'm very stubborn, which kind of helped me out a little bit, but it does, you have to swallow your pride and kind of learn how to do everything all over again. And as your skills get better, you're more prepared to deal with all the challenges.
I understand that your sense of smell is also compromised.
Yes, so I also, yes, I have very low vision, I have no sense of smell, and also due to poor circulation, I have limited feeling in my hands, so I have a lot of things going on.
So the question is, and I'm sure our viewers are thinking the same thing, first of all, I have to just, I'm in awe. I have to congratulate you for your perseverance.
Thank you.
That's obviously a strong trait in you. How, so many of us take these things for granted, our sense of smell, our sense of sight. Talk to us about how you get up every morning. What motivates you? What inspires you to keep going? Not just you, but to help others keep going in their journeys as well. Talk about that.
I've never been a person to sit around, so that was, when all of this happened, it was the first time that I didn't have a job to get up and do. I was off work for about 6 years, so I just started with really small things. Like the first thing I did was walk my dog around the outside of my house. I lived a couple blocks from a baker's. I kept it moving, so I avoided kind of dealing with it just by moving forward. But I'm a planner. That's what I did. So I had recently graduated from college. I had thought of possibly doing something similar to my job, but I wanted to work maybe at an old person's home, coordinating their activities, or like wedding planning or event planning somewhere. And I started off, my first venture was to a different organization that was a state organization, and that kind of got me out and about a little bit in learning to cane travel. I had to learn how to type. I somehow smudged through that in high school. There was a lot to learn. So, and it's something that you can't take a day off of, so you can either kind of stay stuck where you're at, or you can just get it moving. So I started my first job at OPS as a paraprofessional, which was nice to have a chance to do. It was also difficult because I was showing up at a different school every day with different kids every day. I don't really have much facial recognition for people, and so that got a little stressful like pretty fast. I heard about Outlook Enrichment, or it was Outlook Nebraska, and I was hired as their front desk, part-time evening front desk person. And when there was an opening in the Outlook Enrichment department, it seemed to fit perfectly with what I'd wanted to do. And just the excitement of the other people in that department, it just seemed like the perfect fit.
Let me ask you, as you've gone through these challenges that you have endured, what could we as a society, so those people who are around you, what could we be doing better, right, to help someone like you be able to adjust and successfully transition from, in this case, one job, one thing to another? What would be the best thing that we could do?
I guess the main thing, and it's a responsibility on both ends, is just communication. You have to be able to tell people what you need. And the more confident you get, like the main problem with me, I didn't want to use a cane. I didn't want people focused or knowing that I couldn't see. I wanted to kind of just slide through and figure it out in my own way. You kind of feel like everybody's looking at you, or everybody's doubting what you can do. And as you mature and get more confident in yourself, it becomes a learning experience for both sides. So instead of thinking like, how are they going to be able to do that? Mm-hmm. If you just phrase the exact same question a different way, like, how can they do that? At Outlook, it's like, how can we make that work? Machines talk, we have big monitors, we have special lighting if you need it. You have to be able to just speak up for yourself and say what you need, and that's the best way for people to kind of understand. There's a couple things that people can just off the bat avoid, is grabbing onto people or assuming that they need help. It's best to just ask. You wouldn't grab a random person by their arm. Also, moving people's stuff without asking them, or the phrase over here or over there, those are kind of like big no-nos. But we, people are always just trying to help, and the more that we're out in public, I try to work with a lot of different groups. We used to just do all of our activities. It was just us that couldn't see, and it was at Outlook, or it was with the adaptive sports specialists from Outlook. But we've been trying to get out and about in the community and just be out there and make it look good and make it look fun. And we're out there as a group doing, you know, what everybody else is doing, and we found that that makes just like a pretty big impact. And we get a kick out of people wondering, like, what are they doing on that patio bike ride? Or look at all these people with canes. Like, and I kind of think most people don't see that many people out with canes. I mean, we have groups of 15 people, and we're just out, and maybe we're messing up, but we're out there trying with each other. And that's been one of the main things that help too, is just being around other people. It takes that off the table, and you can be around people that know what you're capable of instead of people that are kind of doubting what's safe for you to do and what's not safe.
I think it's human instinct when you see someone, especially with a cane. You want to help, but to your point, it's how do you help? So if I'm walking down the street and I see someone who's using that, what is the best thing for me to do? Just to be able to say, can I help you in some way? Or just continue to walk? I mean, I don't know, because we do want to make a difference, you know?
Always asking if you can help would be best, but for the most part, if a person is out on their own and they're using their cane, they probably have a route or a way. Maybe it doesn't look like the fastest route, maybe it's not the best route, but there's markers for them along the way that they're comfortable with. Hopefully, if you just say hi and they need something, they would be like, hey, do you know what street this is? Or something along those lines, but just generally, practice makes perfect for everybody, and just saying hi is going to give them a cue that you're there, and if they need something, they should be able to speak up and ask.
That's great advice. Okay, attitude, of course, half the battle in just about anything in life. In this case, managing low vision, right? There are treatments and tools available. I know you have brought some props in, but before we go to that, is there anything that you would like to share with us in terms of what's important to know today about where we are with those treatments and tools?
It's getting so much better to be visually impaired right now. Things that are an everyday item, like a phone, are coming with the capabilities that you need. So if you can buy a basic item and it can work you through maybe being low vision, where you're enlarging things, all the way up to just speaking everything out loud if you can't see a thing. It's just getting easier and easier. That there's a million apps you can use, there's a million programs you can add to your computer to help you, you know, make it one step at a time.
Okay. All right, you did bring some props, and we're so glad that you did. Let's go to those and talk to us about what we have here, Megan. There's just a variety of things, and I think as we pick them up, I'm going to ask you to hold them for our viewers to see. What would you like to talk with us about first here?
Let's go ahead and talk about, one of the things that had been mentioned was just medical preparation. So things can be super basic. If you're not techie, there's a very simple way to do things. If you are techie, you can take it as far as you want to. So one of the things was, say, pill management. So maybe you can't see, maybe you can't read. I mean, some of this is a little bit bold, but the basic thing is like color. Anybody can count, like even if you can't read, you could count down Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
right? Or,
you know, just ways to get organized. So this is like one idea. There's another one that maybe, you know, if you have morning, evening, night pills,
right.
Even if this has Braille and large print on it, but say that's not enough for you or you don't know Braille yet, these boxes you could easily still count over 3, down 2, and if you have the time to get all your stuff organized, that's going to be the main thing. Because one thing I have noticed is just things take a lot longer. Traveling takes a lot longer, finding things takes a lot longer. So the more kind of research you could do, like say if I was coming here and I had come in advance and laid out my plan of how I was going to get down here, then you aren't, taking up as much time trying to figure out where you're headed or what you're doing.
Right.
Because there's always going to be surprises along the way, but the more research you can do, the better. Transportation is going to take a lot longer. You're going to have to wait for either, a shuttle. The Metro bus has a great shuttle that's a door-to-door service. So people can get dropped off pretty much right in front of where they need to go and then get picked up right where they got dropped off.
Okay.
And that's super convenient if you can't read signs or if you have problem with daylight or night vision or just depending on your vision loss. It's not the fastest way to get there, and you have to pre-plan and order your ride at least the day before.
Yeah.
Uber is super accessible. You can order that at any time and get anywhere pretty fast. It's a little more costly. And then still you've got people that may not be familiar with the area that are driving, and maybe it might take them a little bit longer to find somewhere. But just being over prepared, I guess. If you order an Uber, you want to put in the notes, I am outside at this address with a white cane wearing a tan sweater, because you're not going to be able to identify them pulling up. At least somebody knows what somebody else looks like. So there's those, those were the pill boxes if you've got a lot of pills going on. These are just little tiny bumps, and these are super versatile. They're cheap, the cheapest thing you can get, and so versatile. So say you just had 2 pill boxes or 2 pill containers, and you might want to put 1 dot on one and 2 dots on the other. It could be as simple as that, a way to identify them. I also use these as like markers on my stove so that I can know where the middle of the heating pad is. So when I feel on the edge of it, when I hit this bump, that means, I line my pan up with right where that is. You can put these on the microwave. You can put them on your keyboard. These are pretty much like, this and Sharpie markers like save my life. So I'm always rolling with the Sharpie marker. That's the only way I can read. Also, if somebody gives you a business card or something, maybe snapping a photo of it instead of keeping it in person, because when you can't read things, it's easier to have them in an accessible way. But this also is a major great thing to have. This is a white cane, and they're getting more and more convenient. And like I said, I was really against being out in public with this, but now I don't leave home without it. It's conveniently fits in my tiny purse. When you need it, you have it. When you're at dinner, you can set it down. It's not in anybody's way. This gives you a lot of independence, and this is like a good way to get somewhere on your own. And because a lot of people, I think, another thing people assume is that you have somebody that will help you at home maybe, or I've gotten like, well, can't your neighbor read your mail? Like, no, I don't think so. So people they just assume there's going to be someone there to help you. And in the beginning there is a lot, but then it kind of drops off. But that's where you can jump in to Outlook and start to find ways that you can help yourself. Then you're not as frustrated waiting on somebody, waiting for when they have time. Some other props, just like I said, because I'm diabetic, it's gotten a lot different from when I was little. You used to have to draw up insulin into a syringe, which would be basically impossible for a person. Now they've got like little pens, and you can hear the clicking, so if you click over 4, that's 4 units of insulin. They've also changed up their blood glucose monitoring, and this is called a G6. So you can test your blood 24/7 with this tiny thing that gets pierced into your body somewhere.
Okay.
You don't need anybody to help you set it up. You can go through the app. Everything has QR codes on it, and people are pretty familiar with those these days. But all you do is put this right in front of your camera, scan it, boom, it's going to start hooking everything up for you. And so the nice thing about that is you can go onto your phone, then it's all run by an app. And if you turn your phone on to what I'm going to show you guys is called VoiceOver, you can just swipe through and it'll read you all of the information, give you trends you've been having in your blood sugars. I remember my mom, when I was little, writing all my blood sugars down in a notebook, like a graph, and just keeping track of it all that way. This can send it straight to your doctor, all the curves and, trends that are going on. It's just really easy to lay out. So this not only is preventative, it's preventative. You have these kind of tools to keep better control and take charge of, things you can control before things happen. They're just making it a lot more easy these days.
So Megan, we've got like maybe a minute remaining. Most important thing, you have educated us, made us more aware today, and certainly you are, like I said, an inspiration. What is the most important thing we should leave this interview with?
I would say the most important thing is just get out there and ride the wave. And if you need help, come to Outlook. We're there to help people. We've been through this. It's mostly visually impaired people on our staff. We try to cater to everybody. If you want technology training, they can teach you how to use your phone, how to use your computer with little vision to zero vision. If you want just other people to relate to you, we have online support groups. If you want to go skiing like we did this last weekend, we have things as amazing as that, or axe throwing, or we went gun shooting this summer. I mean, there's nothing that's out of your reach if you have the right tools and the right support, and you just keep trying.
Talking with Megan Mackey today about low vision. Wow, this has been a fast 30 minutes and a very meaningful 30 minutes. Thank you so much, Megan, for
Thanks,
sharing your
Kathy.
time, expertise,
Of course.
and your own story. We
Thanks.
appreciate that very, very much. Folks wanting more information can go ahead and go to Outlook Enrichment. That's outlooken.org, 531-365-5051. Megan, thanks for being here.
Thanks.
As we close, a look at Infield at the Zoo is seen through the lens of Jenna Jansen, a junior at UNO. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next week.
Consider This is an issues and information program produced by UNO Television. More information and program archives can be found at nebraskapublicmedia.org/considerthis. If you'd like to share your comments about this program, call UNO Television at 402-554-2516 during regular business hours, or send an email to cwyatt@unomaha.edu.